What's up, guys? This is Frosty slash Master Ball, me. Uh, EOL with illusions, everything, whatever. Right. This isn't really much of a tutorial, as much as it's because you can't really teach it. But it's kind of like a reminder or a note for a lot of lovers out there that I feel like should be reminded more often. Or, it's just like a sound piece of advice that would generally help. And also, partly just like a video blog for myself, so I can kind of remind myself because I know this, but it's still like you don't always practice what you preach. You know something, but sometimes when you're in the middle of doing it, you forget. So it's also kind of a good thing to keep in the back of your mind. So two things I kind of want to go over is flow and style or steez or whatever you want to call it. Your own swag. So taking the same moves and moving your own style. So I guess the most important thing I would say is flow. Because especially if you're a baby glover or a new glover, flow is usually not in your vocabulary. Some people it is, but generally it's not. Usually it's just people like figure eights. If I do it faster, it's better. Or like do that shit or whatever. Or you probably most likely saw it and you're just looking like you get up and walk away. You're just like flailing and shit, and you're just like do like seizure lights in your face. So. So that's one. First of all, that's not flow. That's just fast, and going faster doesn't make you better, unless you can still be fast and not flow. But usually, it's easier to start off slow and then pick your way back up. Like 9 times out of 10, if you're first time starting and you're going like 100 miles per hour, you most likely aren't flowing very well. Some people do. Once in the blue moon, I see some people like that, but usually not. So when you think about flow, think about just like always constantly going from one motion to another as if every move was intentional. Like every move you did is intentionally moved from one thing to another, and that there isn't like there's no jerkiness to it. It's kind of like all flows seamlessly. That's why it's called flow. Like for example, okay, so one good example would be with tuts, right? So for example, I don't know, just basic ones. People like are kind of like rigidy. They'll be like, I don't know, stuff like that, right? This is kind of like all glitchy, like rigid. And if you want to do like a flowy sort of cut, you'll be like, hold on, my bad. Like that's more flowy. Like it's the same. Like you can still do the same moves, but even do like just more fluid. Like make it look like every move has an intention. Like every move you do has a purpose. Like you're getting rid of all the wasted moves and only keeping the essential moves, so that it looks more. I guess your light show looks more meaningful, as opposed to just like obviously just like fucking around, or I guess not taking it seriously. I mean, you can still do this and take it seriously, but if you're obviously taking it seriously, then you will try to do something, I guess slow down or something, or just try and make it look more seamless. Like even if like obviously liquid is easy to like do everything seamlessly, but or finger rolls, but like tuts might be a little bit harder, but you can still like have like flowy tuts, like instead of having roboticness. Like you can still have flow to it. So that's kind of like, I guess like you can't really say much on it and demonstrate it too much. It's just kind of like when you kind of see yourself in the mirror, just practice on the mirror, practice in front of a camera, and have like practice in front of your friends and people you trust, their opinions. You value them so they can tell you like, hey, yo, like I like you got a bunch of good moves or stuff, but it's kind of like jerky. Like when you moved from like this move to like the other move, like both moves were cool, but the in between the transition just looked kind of like something was missing there, or you forced it, or it just was kind of weird. So if you want to make it like, for example, I don't know. For example, you have this move, and then you want to go from this move and end up in this position, right? It's not even that difficult. Just go for this move, this position. So you can either just go like, or like, I don't know, just fuck around. But if you want to just move, you can go this like whole flowy way into it. It's just an example. Don't take everything word for word. Just it will click. Like it's hard to explain, but one day it will click. And then, like I feel like a hypocrite for saying this because I don't feel like I have the post flow or my own real style. Um, but it's something you always you can always progress on it, no matter what. You're always learning. So as long as you have it in the back of your head, it should help. And just if you keep forgetting, just keep saying in your head. Just keep saying in your head over and over again. Go slower, go smoother. Transitions, flow. Just keep saying in your head, and you'll try to remember. And the other thing I want to talk about is your style. So when you have your own style, pretty much just taking the same textbook move and just stylizing it. So for example, basic finger wave. It's just like everyone has the finger wave. It's just easy. Just the finger wave. And that's just the finger wave. There's nothing else about it. If you want to put style into it, the main ways to put style into any move, there's pretty much any rule of thumb is one, making up a new way to use the same move. It's probably the harder way to do it. For example, so this is the finger wave, right? And this is the finger wave. So now way to stylize it could be like, for example, like you have your generic stacks, right? Like that's not really have a lot of style, but for example, you can combine the finger wave and stacking, so that adds some style to it. Another way to add style or your own swag into something is, besides like thinking of new ways of using the same move, it's just changing up the tempo of moves you already know. Like for example, everyone can do this. You can take the same move and just like, fuck, Mimic does this a shit ton. Like instead of going like, it goes like this and then goes slow. And then whip it out. And then just kind of figure out different ways to do it. Or he goes, or you can even break it up. Just like, you kind of get the idea. Like for example, ways of adding swag is just changing tempo, slowing down, speeding up, separating like moves, like isolating. For example, going like this, you can like style would be, for example, just keep going like another way, or just like moving it around, like, or you can even go even just basic liquid, like tunnels, slow and then fast. Obviously with like more, like you can even decide once you have that idea, you can like decide like, for example, alright, so I want to go slow here this way and then fast, bam, close, and then you can go into stuff like that. So that's not so that's pretty much like all I can really say about it. It's just if you want to like change things up, be like a distinguished Glover. Like people will see your live shows and say, that's Gion, that's Frosty, that's Mimic, that's AO, that's Gummy, that's Munch. Be like, that's Stacks. That's like, I'm just dropping a bunch of names. Like, if you look at it, you don't have to see their face. You kind of already know that's their style without even like knowing. Like he can do the same moves, but he does it a different way. He changes up the tempo. He hits the musicality. He has flow, so it's much more enjoyable. Less like glitchy to watch. Like, it's obviously you can tell that there's more position to it. Like that's the main thing is a flow and style and create your own way. Like stop trying to like jock other people's styles, because it's not a competition about who can do things better. It's the expression of yourself. So get your own style, practice in front of a mirror, and like once you can express yourself in the form of like, the way to be truly honest to yourself is to be able to express yourself with full honesty, like just full like exactness and punctuality. So just figure that out. Like it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen within a few weeks or even maybe even a few months. Like you first need to learn basics, and you first learn all the moves, and just practice. Just practice. I still don't even know what the hell is my exact style, but I'm gradually getting there. I think so. You guys can do the same thing too, and hopefully it helps you go from just like generic fucking raver Glover guy that doesn't know what the fuck, like I just want to give you Caesar, to like someone's like, it's like, I got this. This is me. Like I'm not even trying to be the best. It's just like this is who I am and my own style. So it's just self-expression. Gloving is a form of self-expression. So do your best, keep practicing, and happy gloving, everyone. Peace.